Hey guys. Here's an update on my my crawler transmission for that Case Model 310 crawler. I haven't worked on it for quite a while because it's been unseasonably cold here in Ohio. We've had colder temperatures here this past winter than I've seen in quite a few years. So I just really haven't felt like fooling with it much. Even here at work in the shop, there was a while where it was too cold out for the furnace to keep up, so it was even cold in here. And at home, I don't really have any good heat in my little garage. There's no insulation. It's just a little steel building, so it's as cold inside as it is outside, even with heat. So, but in any case, this piece right here, this is a differential out of my the rear end of my crawler. The differential is kind of like the rear end in a car, and like the one in a car or a truck. And this right here is actually inside the transmission, behind the regular standard transmission that you would normally see. And you know, the axles go out from here on each side right here, out to little final drive gearboxes that reduce the RPM even more before it goes to the tracks, or in a small tractor it would be like the wheels on a small tractor. And what happened with this one is right here and the next one around, where this piece bolts to the center, these tabs broke off at the bolts and the dowels, and that's no good. So this is part of the reason why I ended up getting it, because it was going to take too much or more work than what it was, you know, worth bothering with for our shop or my boss. So we got as far as getting it apart. We were going to do something with it, but plans changed and we ended up not. We needed the space more than anything in the shop, so my boss sold it to me. So here's the piece out, and that goes there, and then the other one goes there. And we thought about getting getting a replacement one from the dealer, but after looking at this, and thinking about how weak it was, we decided that it would be better if we made a solid piece. So this right here is as far as I've gotten with it so far, and this is my little update. And I figured if this area right here was all solid, and this web right here was a little thicker, and it was made out of steel instead of cast iron, it would have a little bit more durability to it. One of the guys I talked to that I know of said that I ought to make it out of something comparable, because this was probably meant to be a weak point, and you don't want to make it too strong, you bust something else. I don't feel quite that way about it. I figure that on any piece of equipment like this, the transmission ought to be strong enough to take all the power that the engine has to give. If I figure that what should happen first would be the engine stall out, because it doesn't have enough torque to break anything. Otherwise, the transmission should be built stronger, and that's what I'm doing. I'm building it stronger, or at least this piece. I'd prefer a shaft and a transmission twist off or something. I can replace that easier than making this piece. And this piece right here, it rode around in there for a while. I can pretty well tell, because it's shiny all around here, like the pieces were broke from each other and sitting there and rubbing like that right there, and grinding on each other and polishing each other. So to me, in my opinion, it's been driven around broke for a little while. And do you really want that? I don't want it broke. I don't want pieces broke inside and kind of working at each other. That's just as bad as if something twisted off or broke or anything. So I started with this piece right here. I started with started with a solid chunk like this right here, solid piece of 4140 steel, and you know, it's not hard to the point of being brittle, but it is a form of tool steel they use on axles and all kinds of different things where you want something a little tougher than cold rolled or hot rolled. And I just started turning it on the lathe and so on. That's as far as I've gotten so far. In a future video here, I'll have the holes and everything laid out in it. I milled this flat on here so that I could lay the holes out accurately here in the right spot and be able to flip it over and have the same holes on the opposite side, because this thing right here is symmetrical with the same bolt pattern and everything, and dowel pattern both sides, and they need to be orientated to each other accurately, so that because these three shafts are supported off of both pieces, so if I don't do that, they could be skewed at an angle slightly, and that wouldn't be as good. And you know, some may ask why I don't just drill straight down through. But I've found before doing die work and so on, we've had problems with that before. If your milling machine or whatever you're using drills at just the slightest bit of an angle, or if your drill bit wanders, you can end up with the hole in the right spot here, and it could be out 10, 20, 30 thousandths by the time you get to the back end. And that's not so bad with bolt holes, but with dowels, you want them right there on the money. You'd like to have them within 2 thousandths of where you wanted it to be. So just to be safe, that's why I'm doing this. I'm going to drill them here on this side, and then I'm going to reset up with it flipped over and drill those. And then after I get all that done, then I'll lay out and I'll get in here and I'll clear this area here out for these gears to pass through. So that's what I got for now. Sorry it took me so long to get to making another video showing what kind of progress I've made, but I'll probably be doing a little bit more now, being as not so cold out, and I'm starting to find a little bit more time to do this stuff with too. So see you later.